I'm going to get on the brakes. A little bit braver this time. And down to gear 2 is a little bit of a swapper. Crash in the back. That is... What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something pretty special. We're going to be driving the 1968 Matra MS11 around 3 laps of the Avus German Grand Prix circuit. This is pretty cool because this track, pretty famous with F1 nerds. It goes up 2 sides of a German autobahn. They used it between 1953 and 1964, I believe. Might have to double check that. But yeah, we're going to be driving on it today, and we're going to be up against some Hondas, Lotuses, and Ferraris, all from the same era. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we are for 3 laps of the Avus Grand Prix circuit in our Matra MS11, starting in P5. We're going to see how we get on. This is a track I've only driven once before, but it's going to be interesting to see as we've got the lights on ahead of us. And it is lights out and away we go. It's a very equal start from everybody. One of the Hondas in front going a little slow. We're going to sneak up the middle at the start, and we just need to, as quick as we can, get up to 5th gear as we've got a lot of cars retiring from the race. Don't know what's going on there, but we are up to P3 straight away. But we don't have slipstream, so one of the other cars is going to come back through. That is another Matra, and we are going to have to, I'm going to lift off slightly, and we're going to tuck into the slipstream. Hopefully we can catch the leaders who aren't slipstreaming each other up to 300 kilometers an hour. But this being such a straight line, such a straight track, it does essentially become a NASCAR race, as through the first sort of highway turn off we go, and down the straight still, as you've got a big pack behind us, still going side by side with the Matra, and it's really hard to commentate over this because there's no corners, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, we're on an autobahn racing against other classic F1 cars, but we're going to pull alongside just a little bit more as the leaders up there are still going side by side. I'm going to tuck in slightly, lift off the throttle. It'll help the engine, and then we're going to build up some more speed in the slipstream, hopefully to try and catch the leaders up to 300 kilometers an hour. There we go. That's going to get us back past the Matra, who we've been fighting essentially for this whole first straight, fighting for P3 and constantly on the rev limiter in 5th gear. He's going to come back past, and we're getting close to our first corner. I'm going to get on the brakes now. I don't know the braking capabilities of this car all that much. Down to 2nd gear, and we're going to have another car come up the inside. That is one of the Lotus 49s. But through this first corner, this first hairpin, there we are, cleanly through. Doesn't look like any of the other AI are having issues, but there we are, being released back onto the autobahn for the 2nd straight of this race. We are just about in the slipstream of the Lotus in front, and we have still a lot of ground to cover, but we have built a slightly nice gap over the next car, up to 300 kilometers an hour. That will give us the edge over not the Lotus, but the Matra in front of the Lotus, who will be out of the slipstream of everybody. 305 kilometers an hour as we head down the autobahn. The engine in the back of this car just screaming out for help, as they are now going to go side by side. We should be catching up to these guys, I would hope, but us being cautious in that braking zone has cost us a position or 2. Realistically only 1, because we were alongside, going side by side in the chicane, in the braking zone with the other Matra, so really only losing 1 place. But we are dropping back from the 2 cars in 4th and 3rd, but the real challenge is yet to come, as once we get to the end of this lap, we're going to be taking on the big brick sort of banked corner, which has claimed the lives of a few people in the past. Obviously, no such risk on the game, but we're coming up to it now. As we can see on the minimap on the left-hand side, we have the pits, so quite a few cars out of this race. There must have been a collision at the first sort of when the lights went out. But here we go, turning in now, getting on the brakes just about. It's quite dark because of the cloud, so it's hard to see where we're going. But the AI were quite slow through there into the bank. Cars sparking and bottoming out as we head round. We were very brave, and off the banking now. That was really, really good. That was a great section for us, and it's gotten us onto the back of this Matra in the slipstream. We're going to pull out to the right-hand side. These are all the cars who are out of the race. So, P4 now, as we head on to lap 2 of 3. And it's going to turn, once again, like on lap 1, it is going to turn into a slipstream NASCAR-esque battle like that backstretch video game I play on my phone. As we head down the straight, and you just want all the speed imaginable to pull away from this guy behind. But that's not going to happen. We're going to keep to our lane. We're just going to be safe. As through he comes now. This is going to be an overtake for 4th place for the Matra behind. He's down the crest. Going to pick up an extra kilometre an hour. And he's still there on the right-hand side. I wouldn't call it the inside because it is just an enormous straight. But he's... sorry. He isn't quite getting alongside us. Not pulling into the slipstream. And not making an effective pass on us for 4th place. As we can see on the minimap, the leader is starting to check out now. But P3 and 2 are fighting with an inch of their life for that second podium position. But the leader does not need to worry about anything at the moment. As we're going to look to the right-hand side, there is that second Matra in 5th place. There he is, just keeping tabs on us down this straight. And 292 kilometres an hour. And coming up to the hairpin, or turn 1 really, for the second time in this race. As there are the hay bales, we now know that the corner is coming up. I'm going to get on the brakes, a little bit braver this time. And down to gear 2 is a little bit of a swapper on the brakes. I think it was because they shifted down quite aggressively. And now getting on the power, we can see the cars there on the left-hand side. But we have kept the place on the Matra. He definitely had a look. But we can see him in the mirrors, getting further and further away. And now, we should be, hopefully, out of slipstream range. But you never know in these cars. But we're going to keep to our lane. So, we've effectively held that position going through turn 1. He definitely had a look on the outside, and I got quite a bit of a swap going on as I downshifted into 2nd gear. So we now know for the final lap to not downshift too aggressively and run the revs too high, because that'll happen. And we definitely don't want to have a spin, as we're in a very nice position. P4 out of 42 cars. But where is that Matra? He is dropping back from us. So we've had a good enough exit coming out of turn 1 to break away from the P5 car, as we're coming up to the sort of kink in the Autobahn, as there it is. So it's a slight turn to the left. We don't have to turn, obviously, because it's so marginal. We don't have to do anything. But still pressing along. Engines screaming out for help. Obviously, back in the day when this track was a feature on the F1 calendar, cars would have engine failures all the time because they'd be forced to run at these enormous RPMs for such a long period of time, and they'd have engine failures, they'd catch fire and all of this. So the failure rate for cars at this circuit was immensely high. But here we come for the second time towards the brick wall, just clipping the grass there slightly on the way into the right-hand kink before the bank. And on the way in, whoa, we really attacked that bank. I was worried we were going to go over the top. And down to 4th gear to get the revs on the way out. And who is that in front? That is a Ferrari. So the AI separating themselves from each other through the bank. So that bank seems to be what is making the gaps grow and shrink, but hopefully, not sure if we're in slipstream range of that Ferrari in front. Hopefully we are. We might be able to catch up. 290 kilometers an hour, 292. If we go past that, we know we're in slipstream range, because we know the top speed of this Matra is 292, but we are going past it just about. 293 kilometers an hour, so we're just about in slipstream range of the Ferrari in front. This move is crucial, because what we are looking at now is the final podium place in this 3-lap race, and if we can just get in slipstream range of that Ferrari, we'll be able to sail through into the braking zone and hopefully keep that place. We're dropping back down though to 292 kilometers per hour, and it just looks like we're just out of DRS range, not DRS range, God, look at me, look at what I'm saying, out of slipstream range of the Ferrari in front, but it does look like, visually at least, that we are slightly catching this guy, and it's going to be crucial that we get as late on the brakes as we can without crashing into turn 1, because that is what is gonna gain us the time. And also crucially, we're gonna need a good exit out of turn 1, and look for the hay bales on the right hand side. We're not seeing them just yet, not seeing them. There they are. So now we know we are approaching turn 1, and now we're gonna get on the brakes as I've locked up. I felt the lock up, and down to second gear. No problems there then. No swappers or anything like that. The Ferrari's gone quite wide, and we've gotten on the power as early as we can see the cars coming in the other direction, as there they all go. But we should definitely be in slipstream range of the Ferrari in front on the final lap of this Avus Grand Prix. As up to 293, 295, we are definitely in slipstream range now, up to 300 kilometers an hour. This should give us the edge down at the second half of this Autobahn. Quick fact though, out of all the cars in this race, so all of the Hondas, Matras, Lotuses and Ferraris, the Ferrari has the best engine, so it should just about have the legs on us in a straight line, but we are definitely within slipstream opportunity now of this red Ferrari as we head down the Autobahn. We're going to stick to the left hand side. This is where he is holding it, and we now have a fuel warning in the left hand side, so burning immense amounts of fuel, and it looks like our only chance to get past this Ferrari is going to be in the last corner on the bricked banked section, which is if I'm not mistaken, the steepest bank ever on any circuit in racing history, not just Formula 1 history, but just racing history in general. We can see on the minimap we're getting close to the pits. We're not making an inroad on this Ferrari, but it's going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen in the brick wall as rising over this crest. We're going to get brave into the final corner. He hasn't been brave. He's very slow. We're going to sneak up the inside, and there it is. We're up to P3 as we head to the final banked corner. He was so slow into that right-hand kink, and we just planted the throttle, as I'm not sure where he is. Looking in our mirrors, he's not there. Down to 4th gear, and there he is on the right-hand side. I've just caught a glimpse of him. Where is he? He's going to pull to the left-hand side, but I think it's going to be us. Is it going to be us? Past the cars, and it's going to be to the finish line. There it is. It's P3 in this Avus race. There we go. What a move at the end to get that 3rd place. And we have our cool down lap now, but how close was that? Where's that Ferrari? He's going to come by us now. I'm going to pull to the right hand side to let him go, but there we are, guys. P3 in this race, and there we have it, if I remember correctly. But that fuel warning light at the top of the screen is now red, is now fully red, so this car is going to conk out at any time. It could conk out now, it could conk out after we make it back to the pits. But 270 kilometers an hour, we can see the pits now on the minimap, so we're within touching distance. Oh, there it goes. There it is. The car is conked out, and we are now out of fuel. And I don't know if we're going to get back. There are the pits on the left-hand side. Obviously, we aren't able to go through the guardrail, but we have conked out right as we closed up to the bank. And so there we can see the race results up on the screen. It was Rego Kruder who took the victory in one of the Lotus Type 49s, 4 seconds over Henk Gillis in second place. We can see the best lap was made by our P2 man Gillis, which I do not know how fast that was. The Remarkable Progress Award goes to Geronimi Bottazzini, and then the most consistent goes to Jean-Pierre Beltoise, who was the actual real-life driver who drove the Matra which we just drove in the 1968 season. But there we have it, everybody. That has been this 3-lap race of Avus. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. I know I definitely had a lot of fun creating this for you guys. I love doing these old races on Assetto Corsa and other games. But yeah, thank you for the continued support. It means the world. We're at 131 subscribers and we're still climbing, which is just amazing to see. But that's all from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Have an awesome day.